comes together. That's
Yeah, and I want to talk to you guys some more too. Also about you mentioned you're a wedding photographer.
Oh yeah.
Your wife is wanting to get into weddings. You know, maybe we could figure out a way to where she could, you know, help us book. I guess figure out a way to book more weddings that you guys are involved in. And
of course.
Paid if she's the wedding planner and you're the photographer. I'm open to. I'm open to grassroots marketing and guerrilla marketing.
Yes. My wife has been a wedding photographer for about 6 years now, and I picked up videography 5 years ago. So we actually have drone footage that we took of Tin Man to kind of show the layout of the land and the possibilities there, and but I would totally be open to that as well, assuming all this all goes.
You guys still down or something? Do you want to go drive down there and check out the?
We were about 2 hours away. We were headed home, but I'm staring at my partner and I'm laughing because we've already talked about turning around and coming back.
Well, here's the good news. I don't have it listed. I haven't been actively trying to sell it. It just when Erica started mentioning what you guys were looking for and doing, I said, shoot, I've already got that built and ready for him, and I was thinking of selling it at some point. So anyway, my point is I don't have it out there and other. Where other people
understood
gone quick. So
understood.
Feel like it's a pressing thing that if you don't get back here, it's going to be gone. Because I'm not going to pretend like it is. Tell you, oh, you've got to, if you want it, I've got 3 other people interested.
I appreciate that.
I'm under high pressure. I've always felt that if things were meant to be, they'll manifest just how they're supposed to happen. So
I couldn't agree more with you, and I really appreciate you being upfront about that, because that's kind of how we do business as well. Because clearly this is your livelihood. Yes, it's business at the end of the day, but there's emotions, there's memories attached to this, and I want to honor that if we were to one day be fortunate enough to take this over. But also, if this doesn't work for you and for us, of course, then it's never a win-win, and we don't invest in something. But being that we would hopefully be actively involved. I mean, I called my wife today. We looked at a house on Husky Road, and I was already envisioning the additions that we could do to this to make this wedding venue work. Let alone now the ideas that are swirling around in my head for obviously your property. It's like, oh my goodness. And my wife was like, when do we move up there? When can I start planning the weddings? I need to lay eyes on this place. So all that to say, even if we don't turn around today, I have a feeling within the next month, before the end of June, I would love to set up a time maybe and come back up for a couple of days and bring my wife, bring my partner obviously as well, so that we could lay eyes on these and do it justice. Because if we ran back into town now, I feel like it would be short, sweet. We wouldn't be there in time probably before sunset at this point. But if that's
yeah, no, that sounds good. I'm going to try and find a few links here to. I had a gentleman.
Hey man, what are you doing?
Footage here a couple of months ago because I just wanted something to have in my hands as we started our marketing efforts, so people could really get a good feel for the layout of the property and the proximity of each of the Airbnb rentals are to the venue. Now it's just you can just walk. It's just a really neat setup. It's really neat.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'll try and find that. Have you? I mean, it sounds like you're online. Maybe you've already found where all our listings are there.
She gave me the one BrysonCityWeddings.com, and then if you go on there, all of your, I believe as you go down, it's got lodgings. Like I say, 1920s farmhouse, the bungalow, Sweet Magnolia, tiny home. Vintage, and so then you can click on it from there to the Airbnb. So that's really the only way I've.
Okay. Yeah, and I think my daughter has this, and it's not that good of a site. I think it's called Gina's Great Getaways, GINASGREAT, and then getaways.com. Gina'sGreatGetaways.com.
Let me see. Unique vacation rentals in North Carolina. Okay, yeah.
So I think that shows some of them on there, and then probably the same thing. There's probably hyperlinks that take you over to the Airbnb page to actually do the bookings and stuff.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say it's linked on your wedding website too. You can go straight to Airbnb and book through there. But I'd love to. I'm trying to see if there's any other information, because I'm sure obviously I of course would love to see books on all of these as far as revenue, what you have, of course, those kinds of things. I mean the reviews and stuff obviously are public, but when we underwrite it and look at it as far as revenue producing, and then ultimately obviously what you'd be wanting to get out of this, being that you have so much invested into it and things like that too. We primarily like to invest creatively, meaning if you'd be open to seller financing this to us, at least a portion of it would be something that obviously I would want to look into. But that's all obviously stuff we can talk through as you get a better idea. I know you said you just kind of started tossing around the idea of listing this or selling it.
No, I'm over the last 30 plus years, that's how I've been able to grow like I've grown. Is I've done a lot of creative financing with as the buyer, as myself. So as a seller, I'm certainly open to it. We can look at a number of things, and I'm sure there's probably some advantages for me to do it as well. So I'm not getting
big tax advantage. That's yes. Because obviously, if you sell this for a couple million and you incur all that tax in 1 year, that's ultimately how we. I mean, my partner and I are in a community actually surrounded around subject to and seller finance. So that is our main acquisition method, and truly how we're trying to build our portfolio. So I love that parallels how you've grown this, and truly this is really impressive from a young investor to someone who's seasoned and been doing this. I kind of don't take this the wrong way. I kind of look up to you as somebody who's done this, and kind of as a lighthouse for me to look forward to hopefully in my future. So it's awesome.
Oh, great. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I'm going to actually send you this. I just now found the YouTube video I was looking for. Anyway, I'll text it to you when we're done here.
Okay.
Check it out. So I guess. So I guess I'm just trying to think of what the next logical step would be.
Yeah.
I guess we can just continue the discussions here. I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I'll start to look at it this week as we get back home, get caught back up with my partner, and kind of start some early conversations, because clearly I'm gonna have questions and want to get some more information. Would love to set up some times that we can have preset to call, because I know you are busy. I want to respect your time, but I also want to be prepared for those conversations, and then ultimately maybe set up some time here in a few weeks, maybe beginning to middle of June, that we could look at coming back up there for a couple of days. Because I ultimately, I want to look at the wedding venue. I would love to see the properties that would, because I know Erica mentioned clearly we saw Tin Man. That would not be included in this. Is there anything else that's not, or just so I kind of know what's not included with the sale of all this, or is it all one big package?
I believe the way my property is down there, there's two parcels. The first parcel, I believe, is right at 23 acres. And then the back side of the property, and it's all continuous. It's adjoining. There's a bridge that goes across the creek, and then I have several rentals on one side of the creek and then several on the other side. But it's two parcels. One is 23 acres, and I believe the other one is like 13 acres.
Okay.
So that's a total of 36. But then, we're open to, if you wanted to start with that or something, and then we could give you a first right of refusal on the other properties that we have, or, figure out, we could make something work. But, but basically, as you go past the high school, on the first road you come to, past Jordan Road. No, I'm sorry. It would be the second road past Jordan Road on the left on Fontana Road. After you've gone past the high school, you go past Jordan Road. There's the next road. I can't remember the name of it, but then the next road.
Past Jordan Roads, you got Clarence Watkins. You've got I actually see her on Google as Family Cabin Gina's Great Getaways is on.
Okay, yeah.
What road is that?
Do you see Oak Ridge Road?
Oak Ridge, just before that, yeah.
Okay, so I basically own from Oak Ridge all the way down to Hidden Creek Lane, and then everything to the left of the, into that valley.
Yeah, everything south of Fontana. It looks like. How far does that go down?
Hidden Creek, or you mean how far south?
Yeah, from Fontana, because then it looks like it hits Fernwood. Do you own Fernwood as well?
Not anymore. I used to own several properties out there and some land that adjoined this, but I probably sold most of that decades ago, I guess.
Okay.
Out in Fernwood. But now Gina's property, that backs up to Fernwood, kind of, on the, I guess that would be the...
Yeah, because yeah, that's Tin Man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm seeing Gina's property on there. I'm like, yeah, that's where we toured. But
Yeah.
anyway.
So yeah, there's a huge chunk of land, and like I said, the nicest thing about it is it's all continuous. So, you know, the two parcels that have the cabins on it are, one of them's a 23 acre and one's a 13.
And that's Oak Ridge
Gina's
and
house, I
Hidden
think,
Creek.
like we talked, was on like a 5 acre parcel, and then
Yeah.
I own another 20 or something acres in between there and Oak Ridge. I've got joined out there on it. And on Oak Ridge, I've got some little rentals. I put in some tiny
homes.
Yeah, well, they're more, yeah, they're actually like a little efficiency. They're basically tiny home duplexes.
Okay.
And they just have but these are long-term rentals for like local. It's mostly elderly retired folks, and I've only got 4 of them, so it's not a huge thing. But anyway,
I love that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
now it's just kind of another piece of the puzzle that I've managed to finagle together over the years.
Yeah. Hey, that's fantastic. Like you said, obviously, I would love to see and I can start looking up parcels and getting an idea, just probably from county record based off of what you told me you own there. I'm sure I can find that. But
and looking at, I believe I've got it all the different parcels that I have are titled. It's either going to be in my last name, which is Beauchesne.
Yep.
Or it's going to be under Lilybug LLC.
Lilly, like your granddaughter.
Yeah, except being the bonehead I am, I goofed it up when I registered it with the state, and somehow I left off one of the L's in Lily, so it's
Lily.
Yeah, bug.
I love the sentiment that is your granddaughter. Now, I know you have more granddaughters since then, so I take it she was the first one, or is that just your favorite?
No, she was the first one. Yeah.
Oh man, I take it the other granddaughters don't know that you don't have an LLC named after them, or maybe you do.
No, not yet.
Oh, there's still time. You're still young.
There you go. Yeah.
Have you gotten that you look like Jeff Foxworthy before?
I've not. No.
So when Erica sent me your name, I spelled it, and it just happened to be on Google, so I hit send, and I said, Is this Smoky Mountain Cabin Builder? I was like, he looks like Jeff Foxworthy.
That's funny.
And I love Jeff Foxworthy, so we'll just caveat it with that.
There you go.
So
well, appreciate the compliment.
Of course.
Just one other thing I was going to mention, and I just drew a blank. It's and if none of this evolves into anything, I can still, perhaps I can be of assistance. As I mentioned, I'm a licensed contractor, so I can build if you just do decide to buy some raw land and build it yourself, and you're needing a builder or a dealer for the tiny homes or the park model RVs. Like I did that, and I'm still owner of it with actually an investor that I built a cabin for several years ago. Kind of a quick funny story, but I built this gentleman a cabin up in Franklin, and he flat out told me at the end, he said, "Hey, I had a great working relationship with you. I loved it." He said, "If you ever get an idea of something that you think might be go good there in Bryson, and you're needing backers, keep me in mind." So anyway, fast forward a few years, and I saw that river land come up for sale right next to the bus yard there on 19 as you're heading towards the Ingalls. And so we purchased it, and we put in that eight house tiny home development right there along the river right down.
I gotcha.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I haven't.
If you can check it out on if you go to Rivers Rest. what is it? Maybe it might just be Rivers Rest Bryson. Let me see here. Sorry.
Rivers Rest Bryson City, there off of US 19. Oh, wait a minute. I want to say these are the ones. This is right across from Yodeler's Hollow. This is where we were today, and this is where I saw. My partner and I were driving past this. I saw these, and I said, "These are gorgeous," and it's exactly like what we would want to put on a third unit. So, we are buying 535 Jordan Road, and it's on the curve there of Jordan, and it's got an area where we can put a third unit. It's already got a septic laid, and when we saw these, I said, "This is what I want to put on that third spot." So yeah, when you just said this, yeah, I know exactly. These are gorgeous.
Yeah, yep. So I put that in with that gentleman. He kind of funded it. I developed it and built it out, and now we've got them for rentals and stuff. So.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, when you said RV, I mentioned that to Erica. There's no RV spots or anything like that on this property, correct? Or
on which the property that I have with the
correct. With the wedding, correct.
No, there's not. No.
Okay.
But keep in mind the tiny homes, and people use that word interchangeably, I guess, but there's two different types of product. There's what people call the tiny home, and that's just kind of built, anybody in their backyard can build one and put it on a frame and call it a tiny home.
Okay.
Those homes there that are along the river, those are what are legally classified as a park model RV.
Got it.
And so when I say RV, I guess I'm referring more to those. But I don't have individual campsites down there at the wedding venue where people could pull up and do it. I've got room to do that, but I never really wanted to commingle that right next to the
Yeah. I mean, I would put the ones that you have down there on Rivers Rest on this. And there's another question, I guess, that just popped up. Of the 36 acres that's in these two parcels we're talking about, how much of it's developed? How much of it obviously you know this better than anybody. Where else would you ideally see more development and more room for opportunity and addition? And would you be willing to develop that for us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. At one time, I kind of had a plan, and I can see if I still have the info, but I was going to put in these walkable tree houses up on the property. Well, first, let me answer your first question. Probably, I'd say 7 to 10 acres is what's been developed of it. Now, of course, that 7 to 10 acres, that's mostly down all on the flat land down there.
Okay.
Right where the creek runs through the center of the property. And most all of the cabins are right along the creek somewhere, including, the wedding venue is right close to it, and the big pavilion we put in is real close to the creek. And then so the rest of it is more mountainous land, so obviously you couldn't achieve the same density that I've done down by the creek. But I could go back and look at it, but I think at one time I had found at least another 15 future spots that I could develop and build on.
Oh wow, that's quite a few.
Yeah, or bring in more tiny homes. So yeah.
Okay.
Now, yeah, and then of course the at one time the vision was just to keep adding them and keep adding them, and that was kind of why I started acquiring more land along that road there that adjoined it. And it just so happened my son-in-law and daughter needed a house. They outgrew the one they had over here at first that I put in for them. It was a modular home over in Whittier, and it was just a 2-bedroom, so they outgrew that pretty quick with the daughters. And,
did you guys look up parcels at all?
I did.
So going back to their property, at one point we had envisioned that field down there. We were going to put in several tiny homes in that along the hillside of that field, and then possibly put in a little petting zoo in the field, for the kids and families, and just kind of really make it. I was going to try and create a little resort down there.
I love that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I ended up getting extremely lucky on the construction end, and I've for the last 10 years, I've been averaging anywhere between 7 to 12 custom log homes a year that we've been building. So
That's incredible.
yeah, and so that just kind of took my full attention away, and I just, for whatever reason, it wasn't meant for me to be the one to develop out all the rest of the land.
So are you telling me I'm gonna have to put a contingency in here that says I can reserve you as my builder if we go to develop more? No, I'm just kidding.
For real, yeah, because I'm still going to build. I'll always build and probably keep my contractor license, and my nephew will probably be the one to take it over at some point, the construction end of it. But yeah, no, I could certainly help you with that for years to come, and as well as purchasing tiny homes. And
Yeah, the tiny homes is definitely one, but I would love one of those $1 million cabins one day. I've got a little ways to go before I think I'm moving into one. Right now I'm purchasing them to rent out with partners, but that's in my future as well. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I'll send you this YouTube video, or I'm happy to keep talking if you've got more questions, or if you want to kind of digest all that.
I've been taking notes. So I think I'm gonna digest it for now. But this is my personal cell phone, so please feel free to save it. I would love to set up some time with you. Like I said, I'd love to obviously respect your time and see what works for you. But I would love to bring my wife and kids up there to see it, and my partner as well. Would love to see it. I actually, one of my partners sitting here, and he ran off to try and see if we could make it back up there. And I said, you know what? After he ran out when you were like, you guys aren't in any rush. It's not going anywhere. I said, let's take our time. Let's digest what we've seen so far, what we've got, and so that way we can come prepared with more questions and ultimately to see the property and do it its due diligence that it's deserved. So
great.
So
I look forward to it, and I'll send you this YouTube video. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's just some drone footage. I need to reshoot it, have it reshot now that we're now that everything is bloomed up and greening, because it's pretty dull when you first see it. But again, I wanted it more for myself, just to be able to get a feel for the property as we.
Oh, for sure.
Tried to come up with a marketing campaign, but
well, I can tell you this much, that when we come check it out, I promise you I will have my drone. I'm happy to send you some of the footage I take, and share some of my wife's wedding photos and my wedding video. But I'd love nothing more to at least do some stuff for you while we're there that you can have and use, even if this doesn't come to fruition. Which I really want to see it through. So.
Great.
Awesome, Kevin. Well, thank you again so much for your time, and this was fantastic. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Trevor.
All right, have a great one.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
What the world? I need to actually go somewhere now and then.
So that's the beautiful thing. Like when he and I first met, a lot of people, like when they're like, oh, you guys are partners, like you're a partnership, like you're doing flips, but he does everything. When we started partnering together, I'm like, you have all of all of these things, and I'm just like, shit, where do I fit in? But literally the last 48 hours with him, we were on the phone the whole way there and back, just making relationships, and he validates that all the time, and I was like, dude, I need that, but I needed that validation in the last 48 hours.
Everything you just did on there, I was like, I'm so glad I have somebody else doing that.
That's true.
Awesome.
I mean, building that rapport, dude.
Yeah, I can't find votes. I can't. This is
My pilot said we could go to the airport right now. We fly there in 25 minutes.
Fly to where though?
To Silva. There's an airport in Silva.
So then how do we get from Silva to
Turo? Uber.
Yeah, and no. If he was
I know people up there that would pick us up.
But did you hear? I think you were out.
Yeah. At that point, I was like, we need to get there tonight. So I was like,
he goes. First of all, you missed the part where he's amassed most of his investments through creative finance.
Yes, that's another thing.
So he's like, I absolutely, as the seller, would love, and I told him, I said, we're part of a community that focuses on that. That's how we're trying to get started building our portfolio. He's like, I love that. I'd love to support that. And then he goes, I'm not the type of person to sit here and tell you I have 3 other people waiting and you need to be here now. He's like, you guys have first right of refusal. He's like, I contemplating doing this 6 months ago or a year ago, and something told me to wait, and so the right thing would come along. He's like, I believe in, what did he say? I believe in destiny. I believe, and I was just like, we said that all the time. We were touring his daughter's house. His daughter's name is Lillian.
Yeah.
My daughter's name is Lillian. We're at the freaking airstrip. We're at the airstrip. I can't make this up. He goes, do you see what it says on the wing? And I have the picture. It says, do you see what it says on the wing? And I was like, oh my freaking gosh.
So what do you make out of it? Yeah. Look at that.
Let's
What do
see.
you make out of this?
Yeah, that looks like it.
It looks like THRS are awesome. That's our LLC. And
I
then,
was like, what
and then we move
the-
on to these houses. We found air, and I was just like, I don't believe in coincidence. I really don't. Like,
Erica, and then the guy talking to us, I said, oh, you guys are like, buying things here, like, and he just started to talk to us.
Oh, last
about
night,
Bryson
yeah.
City.
yeah.
Are we just gonna just buy it all Bryson City?
What was
Why
he
would-
say?
why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we?
City.
I mean, I'm buying this town, so let's just go buy another town. That is literally, I was talking about.
We both want out of Florida, man.
You want out?
We want out of Florida.
I'm telling you.
I'd go to Charlotte or Raleigh,
Yeah.
and then just so I can
Yeah.
scoot over there during the, like, dude. I would have, I can't confirm this, but you know what Bryson City means to my family. We've
Oh,
had
yeah.
this conversation,
Of
we've had
course.
this conversation. We talked about this before when I talked about raising funds to go and purchase Husky Road, which we still
Yeah.
haven't even talked about. We may never freaking get home.
Jen,
I
serious.
have to go home shortly.
Yeah, and good, because we need to freaking
Yeah.
go home.
That when he came to Pancos with that thing, and we started to go. We got to a coffee shop, and I don't know how we got to about North Carolina. What we were talking about?
I don't remember.
It's like like North Carolina is like we're talking about. Said actually the first time I went to North Carolina, Bryson City, and he was like, that's his favorite place. I was like, what? This is 15 years ago. That's the first time I came to North Carolina to a cabin. It was Bryson City, and it's really I loved it. And he just talking about Bryson City. I was like, oh jeez, what the heck?
That was
His birthday August 3rd. Mine is August 2nd.
Wow.
I mean, this is not like coincidence. Like these things happening.
That was we had a call just because we were both in Ryan's group, and near the end of the call we mentioned something about North Carolina and Bryson City. That was the connection here. I hate to say it.
That is crazy. Wow. Well, here we
Oh,
go. Let's do it.
Couldn't believe that.
This is way too much to think about, honestly. I've
Yeah.
been trying to track it all and like.
Yeah, I can't
Systemize
because
that,
what we
like,
saw, and that what literally it just and this guy like, oh my gosh, he is the nicest too.
He was amazing.
That was amazing. Like he was just gonna sit on the phone.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
unless you have more questions. Hold on, he sent me 2 YouTube videos. He said he thought we'd get a kick out of these. Oh yeah, it's Bear. I think I get what he's talking about.
Oh, that's the wedding.
Yeah, this is.
Man.
It is winter time. Oh, look at that huge wing. Oh, jeez.
Guys, somehow this is all 3 million. He's willing to sell or finance it to us. I mean, I haven't seen numbers yet, but
Well, he knows about creative financing, so.
Wow.
okay.
OMG. So he said he doesn't want to include the tiny thing.
No. He said that anything's.
Oh,
we could
I-
work it out.
Oh, okay.
We can work it out. He has 2 parcels, 23 and 13 acres. The Tin Man.
Tin Man.
Yeah, go ahead and tell him what you would think. I mean, we haven't gotten to that. We haven't gotten to this. Let's go through those quickly.
Because I wanted to show you one thing before you leave.
Okay.
All right then.
Okay.
Well, I did share a folder with you guys. GIS, parcel numbers, important links. I put the Ladybug LLC in there, so it's for reference.
Oh, okay.
I don't have all the other stuff that you have, but we can throw it all in there. I shared it to all your emails, so it's got some of the basic stuff.
Which email did you share it to? You shared
Both
it to Gmail?
THRS and Trevor, and then Robert as well, just because I don't know which one works best.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, man, that was a lot to, again, I think a lot to digest, which I'm glad you were taking notes. I'm glad we had it all recorded. I'm really glad we just had that all on video. Like, had we not been here, we don't record. But we were just saying we need to record all our calls.
And then what we said, I rather to stop here than go to the meetup. That's what we're talking about. It's like, no,
I was like, oh, we could just, but no, this is.
There's so much you have to offload from this to be like, how do we process this? Because like you said, we didn't talk about this. I fed all of this stuff in ChatGPT from the runway, from the airport. I was like, we didn't even talk about that. Like,
what time do you need to leave here?
I probably have to go in I have to leave pretty much almost now to get my kids. I have to start getting supper ready. But I wanted to show you one thing before it's right down the road. We can hop in my van and drive down there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Man, there's so much stuff. Why can't we stay the night? I have a house for you if you want to stay. But you have family. If you want to stay the night, feel free to stay the night. I have a whole Airbnb you can stay in.
Huh?
You have supper with us if you want. It's up to you. I don't want to pressure you.
He's driver. What are we going to do? What are we going to see right now?
We're going to see the mill.
And when do you need to be home?
Probably now, but the babysitter's there still. So.
Okay. Yeah, because we need to talk about this. What do you think?
I mean, we can stay, I guess.
If we stay, though, I feel like we're going to be more family time versus this, right? I not to say that's bad. I want to see your kids. I want to hang with you guys. I'm just...
We can do both.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, we might. I'll just tell my wife it'll be all right.
Tell her we're... yeah.
I don't know,
I don't want to pressure you. Here, let's leave everything here. We'll go see the mill.
Yeah,
Let's
go.
Let me just grab my keys.
Think about it.
I can't even put my head around
Oh my gosh.
It is.
The mill, huh?
Yes, come.
You have drone footage of the mill?